There's a moment in every confrontation where emotions reach their peak. People start to shout, panic, and fight for control. In the middle of this chaos, they're expecting you to react. They're waiting for you to show fear, anger, or even frustration. But you remain perfectly still. Your silence is not weakness. It's the calm before the storm. You're not bothered by their noise, their pressure, or their desperation. You're above it all. And that's exactly what scares them. They can't read you. They can't predict you. In a world full of noise and frantic energy, your stillness becomes an enigma, one they can't solve. It gnaws at their mind, and the more they try to figure you out, the more they fail. What's going on behind your eyes? Why aren't you reacting like everyone else? You see, the calm is a weapon that's far more dangerous than any outburst or anger. It makes them second-guess their every move, doubt their position, and question their own stability. And when they're questioning themselves, you've already won. Your calmness becomes their prison. The more you stay still, the more they unravel. And in that unraveling, they're no longer in control. You are. Be so calm, so still, that it haunts them. Because in your silence, you're not just avoiding a reaction, you're mastering the power of the unknown. Most people believe calmness is a sign of peace, of serenity, something weak men or monks practice to avoid confrontation. But that couldn't be further from the truth. True calmness is not a passive state. It is a calculated power move. It is not the absence of emotion, but the control of it. To stay calm in the face of chaos is to command the ultimate form of control. And control, as we all know, is power. When you remain calm, when you choose to withhold your emotions, you're doing something far more dangerous than just holding back. You are unveiling a weapon that strikes at the core of those around you. Because when you don't react, when you don't flinch, you expose their weakness. Imagine a room filled with tension, people shouting, arguing, desperate to be heard. But you stand there with a chilling stillness. The room's energy shifts, and suddenly, you are the focus. You haven't said a word, but all eyes are on you. You're not speaking, yet your presence is deafening. Here's the terrifying truth. The calm man is the one in control. The loudest in the room are often the most insecure. Their voices crack with the need for validation. Their bodies twitch in response to fear. But you stand like a stone, unmovable, unshaken. And that stillness, it terrifies them. It sends a signal they can't ignore. You are unbothered. Think about the last time you were in a heated argument or a room filled with anxiety. The person who was calm was not the weak one. They were the one who controlled the narrative, the one who did not need to shout to make their point, the one who held the power to silence the room with nothing more than their composure. Because calmness does something that no amount of noise can achieve. It creates uncertainty. When you're calm, others can't predict you. They can't gauge what you're thinking. They can't tell if you're amused, disgusted, indifferent, or enraged. And that uncertainty breeds fear. Fear is the most potent weapon in any power struggle. People will go to any lengths to avoid feeling vulnerable or exposed. And the calm man makes them feel both. This is why calmness is fear in disguise. It makes them question everything. When they don't know what you're thinking, when they can't see your emotions reflected in your face, they feel out of control. And when people feel out of control, they make mistakes, they act recklessly, they reveal their weaknesses. And here's the kicker. Your calmness is never accidental. It's a strategy, a game plan. It's part of your design to stay one step ahead. While others react to the noise, you stay silent, calculating, and watching. You understand that in a world full of noise and chaos, it's the one who can remain unshaken, who will dominate. To be calm is to withhold power. It is a calculated decision, to let others expose themselves before you strike. The more you remain still, the more they try to decipher you. The more they doubt themselves, they begin to spiral. They start second-guessing their words, their actions, and most importantly, themselves. And as they fall deeper into uncertainty, they begin to unravel. Look at the people who are always in control, the most dangerous individuals you know. Do they get loud? Do they panic? No, they stay calm. And unpredictability, as we'll see later, is one of the most powerful traits you can possess. You are the calm before the storm. You are the eye of the hurricane. You know something they don't. And you know that they will never truly understand the depths of your composure until it's too late. So stay calm. Let them panic, let them scramble. they'll reveal themselves, and in their exposure you'll make your move. In any power struggle, the greatest weapon you can wield is unpredictability, and the key to maintaining that unpredictability, calmness. Most people follow a predictable pattern of behavior. They react, they get emotional, they respond to what is said or done. But when you don't follow the usual script, when you remain unmoved by the external chaos, you create an air of mystery that others can't penetrate. It's in this silence, in this stillness, that you become unreadable. People are conditioned to look for signs, for clues, for any hint of a reaction that can tell them what you're thinking or feeling. But when you choose calmness, you refuse to give them that satisfaction. They don't know if you're pleased, irritated, indifferent, or plotting. This is where the power of unpredictability lies. When others cannot predict what you'll do next, they become weakened. They'll try harder to gauge you, to figure you out, but the more they fail, the more they lose control of the situation. Uncertainty breeds anxiety, and anxiety makes people vulnerable. The more they try to crack your calm, the more you remain unshaken. And it's in that silence where you gain the upper hand. Think of a chess game. The best players are not those who are the most aggressive, but those who wait for the right moment. They read their opponent's every move, looking for the subtle signs that will reveal weaknesses. And when their opponent finally makes a mistake, the quiet player capitalizes. The same applies in life. Your stillness becomes a tool that others can't navigate. When someone reacts to you with anger, frustration, or emotion, they are giving you control over them. Every word they speak, every move they make is a reaction to you. They're playing your game, not the other way around. This is where calmness and unpredictability intersect. By staying composed, you're playing a game they don't even know they're in. But the real power isn't in just staying still. It's in knowing when to move. And that is the beauty of calmness. It's not about always being the silent one. It's about knowing when to speak, when to act, and when to remain completely still. This concept of being unpredictable doesn't just apply to confrontations or arguments. It works in every area of life: business negotiations, social interactions, even family dynamics. The moment you stop being predictable, the moment you stop being part of the routine, you start taking control of the narrative. Let's say you're in a negotiation. The other party expects you to act a certain way. Maybe they're expecting you to counter their offer immediately, or they're waiting for a moment of weakness to pounce. But instead, you remain calm. You sit back, not reacting. And when you finally make your move, it's at a time they never saw coming. You've thrown them off balance. Take a look at those who truly dominate in life. The leaders, the magnates, the warriors. They are not loud. They are not impulsive. They are the ones who know exactly when to act and when to wait. And they know that waiting, holding their ground, and staying calm is often the most terrifying move they can make. You can almost see the panic in their eyes. They are constantly trying to solve a puzzle that you've deliberately made unsolvable. And this, my friend, is how you gain control without lifting a finger. You want people to fear you without you ever needing to raise your voice. You want them to feel like they're walking on thin ice, unsure if they'll crack under the pressure of your stillness. That is the ultimate power, because in the end, the unpredictable man is the one who shapes reality around him. The calm man is the one who stands apart from the noise, observes the game from above, and decides when to make his move. And in that moment, when they least expect it, you strike, you remain calm. And that unpredictability is your most lethal weapon. Now that we've established the power of calmness and unpredictability, let's dive deeper into the psychological war you wage when you choose to remain calm. In any interaction, emotions are a powerful force. They drive decisions, create alliances, and can even manipulate others into doing exactly what you want. But here's the truth. Emotions are not just your weapon, they're your opponent's weakness. When people feel threatened, attacked, or challenged, they react emotionally. It's a natural impulse. They defend themselves, they lash out, they raise their voices, trying to create an image of power through sheer emotion. And this is where you seize the advantage. By remaining calm, you disrupt their psychological process. You force them into a loop of self-doubt, confusion, and insecurity. Because when they're reacting emotionally, they are completely consumed by their own mind. And in that chaos, They are no longer focused on you, they're focused on themselves. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to think clearly when you're angry or upset? It's hard to make good decisions when your mind is clouded by rage or panic. This is why calmness is your most effective tool in manipulating the emotional environment. While the world around you is in chaos, your mind remains clear, and that clarity gives you an unmatched advantage. When someone is emotionally charged, they can't think straight. They may say things they don't mean, make threats that are empty, or act in a way that is completely irrational. In these moments, the calm person becomes a master of influence. You see things from a different perspective. You are always one step ahead because you're not reacting to emotions. You're watching them unfold like an observer at a chessboard. This psychological advantage is what makes calmness disruptive. The more others react emotionally, the more you remain composed, and the more they begin to question their own actions. They start wondering why you're not reacting the way they expect. This thought alone shakes their confidence. It's like pulling the rug out from under them. The emotions they're projecting, whether it's anger, fear, or frustration, have no effect on you. They begin to feel powerless. Their emotions are no longer their allies, and their mental stability begins to crumble. They start asking themselves, why isn't he reacting? What does he know that I don't? Your silence, your calmness, becomes a mental game. It's a game they don't even realize they're playing. They're trying to read you, trying to decipher your every move. But because you refuse to reveal yourself, they're left in a state of constant uncertainty. The beauty of calmness is that it's unpredictable and unexplainable. The louder they get, the more they expose their emotions. The calmer you get, the more they are left with questions. And in that gap, in that void of uncertainty, you control the narrative. You make them question everything. You force them to reevaluate their position, their motivations, and their confidence. By simply not reacting to their emotional outbursts, you turn their strength into weakness. They start to wonder, what does he know? Why am I so rattled by his silence? And when they are questioning themselves, you've already won the battle. This is the real power of calmness. It's not about ignoring what's happening around you. It's about controlling the mental space where the battle is being fought. When you control their thoughts, by staying calm and composed, you control the outcome. As you force them to second-guess themselves, to analyze their every move, they become more and more paranoid, more vulnerable. And this mental instability is your opportunity to strike, to make your move when they're least prepared. The mind is a battlefield, and calmness is the most effective weapon in your arsenal. By keeping a clear head, you can disrupt their thoughts and force them to play your game, not theirs. In every moment of tension or conflict, the true battle is not the words spoken, the actions taken, or the confrontations that unfold. It's the silence between them. The silence is the space in which power is created, and in that silence, calmness reigns supreme. We often think of power as something loud, something forceful, a display of strength through volume or force. But true power is in the absence of noise, in the moments of stillness where you stand unshaken. In these moments, your aura grows stronger. Why do some people command attention without even saying a word? Why does a leader seem to draw people in, while others yell for attention and are ignored? It's because they have mastered the art of being calm in the face of chaos. They understand that quiet authority is far more effective than any shouting or display of aggression. When you choose to remain calm, you create an invisible force around you, an aura of composure that is powerfully magnetic. People are drawn to calmness, even if they don't know why. It exudes confidence, control, and a quiet sense of dominance. And here's the secret. Most people are desperate for this type of calm because it's the antithesis of their inner chaos. Imagine being in a room full of people, all loud, emotional, and overbearing. Now picture one person standing in the center, completely unfazed by the noise around them, emanating a serene energy. This person isn't trying to be the center of attention, but without saying a word, they own the room. They've mastered the power of silence. This is the aura of power that you can build by remaining calm. It's not a force you can fake. It's a state of mind, a mindset that radiates from your core. It's a quiet strength that others feel in your presence. They don't know exactly why they're drawn to you, but they feel it. And this unspoken magnetism is a true marker of dominance. Why does this work? Because in a world where most people are constantly in a state of emotional reaction, those who remain calm break the cycle. The world around you is frantic, erratic, and disjointed. People react without thinking. They speak without purpose, but you've learned to break free from that cycle. You've stepped out of the chaos and into a space of mental clarity and emotional control. In your calmness, you disrupt the noise. The louder they get, the more your calmness makes them feel uneasy. It's not that you need to speak louder or force your presence on others. You simply need to be the still point in a storm of turbulence. And when you remain still, when you remain calm, others will unconsciously start to feel the need to quiet themselves around you. They'll start to align their energy with yours. You'll notice people asking for your opinions more often, deferring to you in decision-making, and being drawn to your presence in a way that feels magnetic. But calmness is not just about stillness. It's about knowing when to act. This is where the real power of silence comes into play. When you remain calm and quiet, you're in control of the rhythm of the situation. People can't anticipate what you'll do next, and that unpredictability gives you full power over the moment. Think about the calm leader who never raises their voice, but makes the most impactful decisions. When the chaos around them increases, their decision-making becomes even more precise and measured. They don't have to act in haste, because their calmness gives them the ability to observe, reflect, and then take action when the time is right. When you become this person, the one who is never hurried, never flustered, others will begin to see you as someone who is in complete command. You are the eye of the storm, calm, composed, and in control of everything around you. Remember, power lies not in how loudly you speak, but in how quietly you dominate. By now, you've learned that calmness is not just a state of mind. It is a weapon, a shield, and an invisible force that transforms how others perceive and interact with you. But now we arrive at the most powerful truth. Calmness, when mastered, makes you untouchable. Here's why. In a world full of noise, chaos, and emotional reactions, you become the one they can't touch, the one they can't rattle. People who remain calm in the face of adversity are impossible to manipulate. Why? Because no one can provoke or control you through emotional triggers. When you stay calm, you hold all the cards. Being untouchable is not about being aloof or detached, though those can be part of it. It's about possessing a level of self-mastery that is impervious to external forces. When others lash out in anger, desperation, or even fear, you remain unshaken, and that disarms them. People don't know how to react when they can't provoke you. This creates an aura of invulnerability. The more you practice this calmness, the more it becomes a reflex, and eventually, a natural part of who you are. As you grow into this power, others will begin to notice it without even realizing why. They'll sense that you're the one who's always in control, and they'll begin to gravitate toward your energy. But here's the ultimate truth. Those who understand this power and wield it effectively can achieve anything. Because when you remain calm, others begin to follow your lead. They see you as the one with clarity, and as such, you become the leader in situations where everyone else is running on emotions. This is how you become truly untouchable. You're no longer dependent on external validation or influenced by the chaos around you. You are in control of your mind, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. The calmness you cultivate doesn't just affect the people around you, it changes the course of your life. Remember, the power of calmness isn't just about making others feel uncomfortable or confused. It's about creating an inner peace so solid that no external force can break it. And in that peace, you find freedom. Freedom from reaction, freedom from fear, freedom to move, think, and act without anyone holding power over you. So, as we wrap this up, let's reflect on the journey you've just taken. Calmness is your key to unparalleled control, influence, and ultimately untouchability. It's your ability to remain composed in the most intense situations, to take back power in a world of emotional volatility, and to shape the reality around you with unwavering poise. If you want to master the art of becoming untouchable and stay calm in any storm, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the next step in your transformation. Stay calm, stay collected, and never let the world shake you.